Chase was staying over at his girlfriend's house when something strange happened that made him start recording. She had told him before that the place was haunted, saying you could always hear footsteps moving around upstairs, even when nobody was there. Chase never believed her, until the night that changed everything. Take a look.
My front camera is smashed, but I'm here at my girlfriend's house by myself. She always says it's haunted because it sounds like somebody is walking around upstairs. I've never heard it until now. I always said it's not haunted because the house is a little old. But it legit sounds like there's somebody upstairs. I will swing on a ghost, or if it's a person, I don't care. Who's up there? Oh my God, they're like at the top of the stairs. Come down these stairs and I will swing on you, I promise.
The video starts with him whispering that he's finally hearing it for himself. Faint but clear footsteps can be heard moving above him, slow and steady, like someone pacing. He walks toward the stairs, the sound growing louder with each step he takes. As he begins to climb, he pauses halfway up, shining the camera toward the landing, and asks who's up there. There's no answer, just silence and the faint creak of the house settling. Then, out of nowhere, the footsteps pick up again, this time rushing straight toward him. Chase freezes, but before he can react, something invisible seems to barrel down the stairs. He instinctively swings at the air, but nothing's there. The clip ends abruptly as he backs away, shaken, realizing his girlfriend might have been right about the house all along. The date was June the 14th of 2025. Chris decided to spend the evening at a well-known haunted forest, a place locals have claimed for years is filled with restless spirits. Armed with his ghost interaction device, he began exploring deep within the trees until he stumbled upon something eerie, an old grave marker for two people right in the center of the forest.
Hi, Jonathan. Hi, buddy. It's nice to talk to you. Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. It just said Jonathan, bombings 1920s. You are amazing. Mortuary. Right. It just said right. And that's John. I mean, you would think if his full name was Jonathan, they put Jonathan, right? But it just said Jonathan. Bombings 1920s. Right. And Nightmare. Lifetime. That's crazy, bro. That's crazy. Absolutely crazy. That's wild, bro. Wild. We've been so connected lately. I don't know what it is, man. Whoa, 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 whoa.
As he asks questions through the device, the faint shape of a white wisp can be seen gliding behind the grave, moving slowly through the darkness before fading away. Chris continues speaking calmly, asking if anyone is there with him, and then the device suddenly responds with two clear words: "You're amazing." The moment leaves him speechless. Whether it was meant as kindness or mockery, it confirmed that something out there was definitely aware of him and listening. Who knows if it was one of the men who appeared on the grave. Filming from her bed late at night, a woman in Houston began recording her closet after claiming it had opened on its own just a few minutes earlier. She had recently gotten up, closed it, and returned to bed, but she decided to start filming in case it happened again. The room was quiet, the only sound being the faint hum of the air conditioner as she kept the camera pointed steadily at the door. What happened next was bizarre.
The door opened up a few minutes ago, so while I was laying down, so we're going to see if it's going to open again. I closed it and got back in the bed, and hopefully it is shut for tonight. I just end up getting out my bed a minute ago and shutting it, so let's see. Looky. I'm in my bed, and there she goes. So I'm gonna have to end up putting a towel in it, or she's gonna keep opening it up all night. But I'm in my bed, as you can see. It's opened up again by itself.
After several tense seconds, the closet door slowly begins to pull open by itself, creaking just slightly as it moves. She gasps softly, but doesn't move, frozen as the door comes to a stop. No one else is visible in the frame, and there's no sign of a draft or string pulling it. After this, she said she's been trying to move out of the apartment entirely, convinced that whatever is in that Houston apartment doesn't want her to stay, and she would be a fool not to listen to the signs. The following footage is grainy and hard to make out, clearly filmed on an older camera, but what it captures is enough to send chills down your spine. Paul, a ghost hunter who often explores haunted places alone, was walking through a wooded area at night, with only the faint beam of his camera's built-in torch lighting the way. The crunching of leaves under his feet is constant as he scans the trees, narrating quietly to himself. Then, out of nowhere, something insane happens, so have a look.
Where's it gone? There was something there. Sure, I saw something. Where is it? It was around here somewhere. It was here somewhere, but it's gone. Oh, I don't know where it is.
Out of seemingly nowhere, a white, human-like figure glides across the frame just ahead of him, its movement smooth and unnatural, almost floating rather than walking. Paul immediately swings the camera around, calling out into the darkness, but whatever it was is already gone. He searches the surrounding area, panning the light through the trees and undergrowth, but there's nothing there. No noise, no footprints, no sign of anyone else. For someone who spent years chasing the paranormal, even Paul admitted afterward that this one left him completely rattled. Who knows if he will ever spot something so clear again. The Ogden paranormal team had decided to spend the night investigating a notoriously haunted location known as Asylum 49, a place long rumored to be one of the most active spots in the state. During one part of the investigation, two members of the team, a man and a woman, were sitting quietly in a dimly lit room, waiting to see if anything would happen, while the rest of the group monitored from another area. This is what happened. For a while, everything was completely still, the only sound being the faint hum of their equipment. Then, out of nowhere, soft noises began echoing from behind them, like distant shuffling or something moving just out of view. They both freeze, exchanging nervous glances before slowly turning around at the same time. The camera pans with them, and the place is empty, completely void of movement, yet the sound continues for another second before fading into silence again. No one else was near that room, and the team later confirmed through their static cameras that nobody had entered or left during that time, making this one of the eeriest moments from their night inside Asylum 49. A young family captured a moment that started off completely normal, but quickly took a strange turn. The clip begins with the grandmother arriving at the house, greeting her daughter-grandson at the door. The mom cheerfully asks her son if he wants to go to grandma's, and he immediately lights up with excitement, nodding and running toward the front yard. Things are wholesome until they become odd.
You ready to go, Grandma's? Come on. Let's go.
I want you.
She's got cups. Okay. Yeah.
Dada! I'm just hanging me. Daddy hanging me.
Oh, wait.
What?
No. Okay. Ooh, come on, Clarence. Okay.
What, Daddy?
That's what I was just about to ask. What did you say, bud? Did you say bye to?
Bye. I said bye, Daddy.
Oh, okay. Dad,
As he walks to the right, his tone suddenly changes. He stops, looks into the distance and quietly says, "Dada," as if he's spotted someone familiar. The mom looks a little confused, since the boy's father wasn't home due to him passing away 8 years ago, but the child seems completely certain, even waving and saying "Bye, Dada," before turning back toward the car. The family later checked the footage again, and though nothing visible appears where the boy was looking, his reaction and tone were unmistakably genuine, leaving everyone wondering who or what he actually saw that day. Luke had set up a small camera to keep an eye on his cat while he was out, but what the footage ended up showing was far from what he expected. Everything seems perfectly normal at first, just a quiet kitchen with his cat lounging. Then, things start to get strange. The lamp beside the sofa suddenly flickers on, glowing unusually bright before shutting off again, then turning back on a few seconds later. It repeats this several times, almost like someone's playing with the switch, except Luke wasn't home. As the light flashes, a teddy sitting nearby begins to subtly move, its arm shifting just slightly, before an ornament placed next to it falls over completely. The cat notices immediately, jumping up and walking closer to investigate, as the lamp turns off one final time. After that, everything stops. The room goes still again, silent and undisturbed, as if nothing had ever happened. In this next clip, a woman follows her cat into a room after hearing faint children's music playing from inside, which immediately strikes her as odd, since no toys had been turned on. It's the playroom, filled with her child's things, and the cat seems unusually curious, walking straight toward the curtains near the window. As she steps in behind the car, she notices something strange. The legs of a bear plushie beneath the curtain are subtly moving back and forth, almost like they're kicking. She walks closer, trying to make sense of what she's seeing, and then pulls the curtain aside to reveal the toy lying still on the floor. It's not moving at all now. Thinking maybe she imagined it, she starts walking away, only for the bear to shift slightly again, just an inch, completely on its own. She immediately pulls it back and shows behind it with her camera, proving that nothing and no one is there. In the aftermath, she admitted the incident left her too unsettled to keep it and decided to list the toy online to sell it. Kokoko, the Japanese explorer we've covered before on this channel, is back again with another terrifying adventure. This time they visited the Shinshukanko Hotel, and it definitely had the viewers talking. The hotel has long been whispered about as one of the most haunted spots in the region, and KOKOKO's exploration proves why.
言ったよね。
なんかありました？
いや、見えない。何今の音？何今の音？
翔ちゃんたちの音ではない。
ないよね。ちょっとこっちなんだろう。わかんないな。暗くてわかんない。
待って。
As he and his friend moved through the decayed rooms, the silence was shattered by what sounded unmistakably like a baby crying somewhere deep in the building. At first, they brushed it off and continued exploring, but when they entered another room, the sound came again, except this time it was much louder, sharper, and far more prominent. None of them could explain it, and the unease that you could feel through the screen made it clear they weren't expecting it. The mystery of the crying only adds to the disturbing history of this hotel, and the story is far from over. This investigation will continue in a future video on my channel. The Chilling Floor, a channel we've looked at before, uploaded yet another spine-chilling investigation in the exact same creepy castle as last time, based in the UK. The video shows the man behind the camera heading towards the staircase and standing at the top of them, when suddenly, noises start echoing from the lower floors.
We're doing a ghost hunt from a haunted castle. We're in a haunted castle. It is proper creepy. Whoa, who's that? Did you hear that noise?
Down here, I swear to God. Is there someone there with us?
Come this way.
Honestly, I heard banging down here. I swear to God. We're in a haunted castle and it's proper freaky. I just heard some banging from down here.
Standing at the top of the stairs, the man begins by asking the direct questions. Is someone there with us? Almost immediately after, heavy bangs could be heard below, loud enough to shake the confidence out of the cameraman. Bravely, he descended to check, but once he reached the bottom, the space was completely empty. No one was there with no explanation for it. Alexis had been relaxing at home when he suddenly heard the front door rattling with heavy knocks, loud enough to make him jump. At first, he thought it must have been a delivery, or maybe a prank, but the noise was so persistent that he finally grabbed his camera and walked over. When he opened the door, the driveway stretched out in front of him completely empty, nothing even remotely out of place. He shrugged it off, clearly unsettled, but with no answers. But the real twist came from his wife. After the clip cuts, she revealed a photo she had taken inside the house at nearly the same moment. In the picture, a womanly figure could be seen, standing right where Alexis had been looking. The strange part was that he hadn't seen anyone at all. It was as if the figure could only be visible from inside the house through the glass. The couple were left with more questions than answers, wondering why only one of them seemed able to see what was there. Two friends were hanging out late at night, sharing drinks and laughs while one of them recorded the other singing and dancing around the room. The mood was light-hearted, nothing out of the ordinary, until something completely unexpected happened.
You're fucked. What? What? What are you doing? Did you not hear that? No. Are you sure? Can you hear that? Cindy.
As the camera focused on the woman dancing, the large mirror behind her suddenly shook on its own. The drunk woman froze mid-performance, her face instantly shifting from joy to fear. Without warning, she bolted back to the bed, clearly startled by whatever she thought she had just seen. The person behind the camera, a little confused and tipsy themselves, didn't notice anything unusual in the moment, but watching it back later raised an unsettling question. What could she have seen in the reflection that the camera and her friend didn't? Aria had checked into what was meant to be a quiet and uneventful stay at a hotel, but what she captured instead left viewers unsettled. The clip begins with her already in full panic, sprinting through long corridors while screaming for help. Her voice echoes through the empty halls, raw and distressed, as if she was being chased by something unseen. The sound of her desperate cries was what struck people the most, because it wasn't the type of scream someone fakes for attention. It was the sound of genuine fear. The footage cuts before we see what she was running from, leaving only questions. Was it another guest, something in her mind, or something far darker hiding in the hotel? Whatever the truth, this is just the start of Aria's terrifying experience. Not long after, another video surfaced, this one from hotel security footage.
Y'all, so here's video of that girl that posted, and I'm gonna let y'all know now, it gets really weird. It's like she acting like she's running from something or hiding from something, but there's literally nobody else in the frame. Like she tweaking.
Yeah, it is weird.
And the elevator door is not even closing. Like she playing hide and seek or something. But look, this ain't even the craziest thing. Like now the elevator, look, the elevator door is closed. This ain't even the craziest thing about this video though. I got like more video to show y'all, and it just gets super weird. So y'all just stay tuned.
It shows Aria from a different perspective, bolting down the same corridors while glancing over her shoulder again and again. What makes this footage unnerving is that she appears to be fleeing from absolutely nothing. No one is behind her, no shadow, no figure in sight. To anyone watching, she looks almost out of her mind, but the sheer terror in her movements makes it hard to believe she was imagining it. Even in the elevator, she was ducking behind corners. With both angles of footage now out there, the story only grows stranger, and there may be even more to uncover from this night. Not long after Aria's terrifying dash through the corridors, a new angle of the story emerged.
It's like all my stuff is just left here. It's crazy. You said what?
Don't get me on camera.
No, this shit is ridiculous. What the heck is this doing in here?
Yo, hold on, y'all. Why the fuck is this in here? Hold this. Yo, y'all. This is crazy.
Oh my God. What?
At least you got some stuff you can take home.
This time, a hotel security guard entered one of the rooms with another staff member. The sight inside was shocking, with items scattered everywhere, and the place was in complete disarray, as if someone or something had torn through it. As they searched, they came across something even more unsettling, a hook that could be used to open other people's rooms. The discovery raised new questions. Was Aria running from a ghost, a person, or something else entirely? And if it was a person, why would they have access to something so dangerous inside the hotel itself? Nothing else was clarified, and the mystery only deepened. The last video in this chilling sequence came directly from the hotel's own security system.
Alright, y'all, so I went back and was looking at the video of that girl from the other day, right? Because I'm thinking maybe somebody must be following her, because I found that thing in the bathroom. Like, you know, it would make sense that somebody's probably following her, because not just any person is going to have that tool. I mean, that tool is for getting inside of rooms. So just keep watching the screen right here, man. I saw something that just, because I'm thinking somebody's following her.
Watch, let me fast forward. Watch this.
Watch. That's just the housekeeper down there.
See?
Right there. Right there.
I don't know what that was.
This is crazy. What? How do y'all explain that? Somebody explain that to me. And y'all think that's crazy? Watch. Keep watching. Keep watching, like right by that door, right there, by that table. Keep watching right over by there. Whole time I'm thinking somebody following her. So we trying to go over the film and just keep watching. Look. My hand is shaking. Right there.
What is that?
What the heck? Bro, that's a rock from that table right there. Those are stones and those in bowls right there by that table. And that one of them stones just fell on the floor.
And there's no way that should happen because there's no wind in there.
Wind ain't even gonna do that though. This is crazy, yo.
I don't know.
Somebody explain this to me. Please somebody explain to me what the hell that just was.
As the guard reviewed the footage, he noticed something no one had pointed out before. Just moments after Aria bolted down the corridor screaming, a shadow streaked along the wall, right behind her. There was no person present, and nothing nearby that could have cast it, making it impossible to dismiss. The evidence only grew stronger when, later in the same footage, a rock sitting in a decorative bowl on a nearby table suddenly launched to the floor. With both events caught on camera, the conclusion seemed undeniable. Whatever Aria was fleeing from that night, a ghost was following her. Ray decided to spend the night at one of the most haunted hotels in Texas, a place rumored to be crawling with unsettling energy. He booked the room everyone avoids, one completely filled with porcelain dolls that stare no matter where you move. Hours into the night, as he scanned the room, one doll caught his attention. It was seated on a tiny vehicle that seemed to be a worn-out toy car, like some fake vehicle display. He swore he saw it shift slightly and started to capture the following footage. What happened next left him frozen.
This doll just moved. This doll is moving. This doll literally just moved.
The doll's head slowly turned, just enough for its glassy eyes to face directly toward him. The motion was subtle but unmistakable, and its face looked extremely disturbing, almost too detailed, as if it wasn't meant to belong to a toy. Ray said that after that, he couldn't stay in the room much longer. The silence that followed felt alive, and even on camera, that doll's expression looked like it knew exactly what it was doing. Ghostek Paranormal Investigations decided to explore the abandoned Pluckley Brick Works, a site with a dark reputation that's been whispered about for decades. The team went in at night, filming for their YouTube channel, hoping to catch something they couldn't explain. The air was thick with dust and tension as they called out into the tunnels, asking if any spirits had any last words to share.
You might have spoken to us on our audio equipment. So, is there any last words that you have to say? Anything at all? Is it better where you are now than when you was here?
As we are filming our last session in the main brickworks, Jason is capturing a shadow figure on his full spectrum camera. At first, it stands still and then moves from right to left and then back to the right again. It stands still again and then moves off again to the left.
Out of nowhere, the camera caught a shadow at the far end of the passageway, shaped like a person, but moving in a way no person should. Its limbs seemed to glide more than walk, the motion jagged yet smooth, like it wasn't entirely bound by gravity. The investigators froze, whispering to each other before the shadow slowly drifted left and disappeared behind a wall. The silence that followed was deafening. They didn't wait to see if it came back. The team packed up and left the facility, convinced they'd just witnessed something they weren't supposed to see. This CCTV footage was captured in a dimly lit basement late at night, the kind of place that already feels wrong even when nothing's happening. The camera was fixed on the entire room, but you could see a door with a glass panel that led to a stairway. For a while, everything was still with just quiet humming from the lights and the occasional flicker from the camera. Then, out of nowhere, something moved behind the glass, sending a motion alert to the house owners. Through the reflection, it looked like a figure slowly creeping up the stairs, its outline faint and very difficult to distinguish. The movement was slow, deliberate, like someone trying not to be heard. But when the person reviewing the footage checked the door afterward, no one was there, and the building had been locked the entire night. The eerie part wasn't just the movement, it was the way the figure seemed to pause halfway up, almost as if it knew it was being watched, before vanishing out of frame. The clip starts with someone zooming in on a window across the street after hearing loud, blood-chilling screams echoing through the night. The person recording thought it might be a domestic argument or someone in danger, but what they captured was something no one could explain. Through the window, a woman can be seen in visible distress, her body language terrified, as if she's pleading for mercy from something just out of view.
Could you see that in the window?
Eventually, the being steps forward, and it is a tall, shadowy figure towering over her, its outline eerily similar to a grim reaper. The shape is pitch black, blending into the darkness but somehow still distinct, like it absorbs the light around it. The woman's fear is unmistakable, and the way the figure moves is slow, deliberate, almost floating, and it feels completely unnatural. Moments later, when the man across the street stopped recording, the light in the room flickers and both of them vanish from sight. No one could confirm what happened next, but that footage alone left everyone who saw it questioning whether it was even human. Tasha was sleeping within her usual routine when she started hearing strange noises in the middle of the night that awoke her. At first, it was just faint banging sounds echoing from the hallway outside her room, like someone pacing back and forth, knocking on the walls as they moved. She tried to ignore it, thinking maybe it was the wind or the old pipes, but then the sound changed. The banging started coming from inside her room, and it was loud, sharp, and close enough to rattle the furniture. Tasha sat up, terrified, realizing her husband and kids were still sound asleep beside her. Completely unaware, she whispered their names, but no one stirred. Each knock felt deliberate, like something was trying to get her attention. When the noise finally stopped, the silence was even worse. Tasha said she couldn't shake the feeling that whatever was in that room wasn't finished with her yet. It had just decided to wait. At 2:53 a.m. the next night, Tasha's phone buzzed with a doorbell notification. Half awake and still uneasy from the night before, she opened the app to check the footage. What she heard made her blood run cold. There were faint footsteps approaching the door, followed by whispering that was soft, rapid, and almost childlike. But the camera showed nothing there. The motion light outside flicked on, triggered by something it must have detected, yet the porch remained completely empty. Tasha replayed it over and over, each time hoping to catch even a glimpse of a shadow or movement, but there was nothing. The whispers seemed to grow clearer with each listen, like voices just beyond the edge of understanding. After that night, she said she couldn't sleep without keeping every light in the house on. Whatever had started in her hallway now seemed to be right outside her door, waiting for another chance to be heard. 2 nights later, just as things seemed to calm down, Tasha was jolted awake again, but this time, it wasn't by knocking or whispers. It was her dog. In the middle of the night, he started barking furiously, the kind of bark that only happens when an animal senses something it can't understand. The noise woke up the whole family. When Tasha turned on her camera, the dog was standing stiff at the edge of her bed, barking and staring at what appeared to be absolutely nothing. The air felt heavier than usual, and every few seconds the dog would glance back at Tasha, as if warning her not to move closer. Her husband checked the hallway and the doors after the clip, but everything was locked tight. There was no explanation. The tension didn't fade until the barking finally stopped on its own, and even then, no one felt safe enough to go back to their rooms. That night, the entire family dragged their blankets to the living room and slept together on the couch and floor, just trying to make it until morning. After this horrifying incident, things seemed normal again. Tasha tried to convince herself that the worst was over. One afternoon, she filmed a light-hearted video of her 2 dogs playing in the living room. They had thrown all the pillows off the sofa and were wrestling over a toy, tails wagging, completely carefree. It was the first time the house had felt peaceful in weeks.
Look at them, destroying the living room over one toy. Silly. Destroying the living room over one toy.
When Tasha rewatched the video later that night, something in the background caught her attention. On the far wall behind the dogs, a faint shadow appeared, moving slowly upward, almost like it was crawling. It didn't match the dog's movements or the lighting in the room, and the way it shifted looked disturbingly human, but twisted in a way that didn't make sense. Tasha said she paused the video dozens of times, trying to explain it away, but she couldn't. That innocent clip, meant to capture a normal moment, only confirmed what she had feared since the first night. Whatever was in the house hadn't left. Now Tasha and her family are preparing to move out, but the process will take time, and until then, they can only hope whatever's there doesn't show itself again. A man who had been struggling with strange activity in his home for months finally decided to bring in a medium for answers. After walking through the property, the medium explained that the disturbances were being caused by a haunted object he unknowingly kept in his possession. The problem was, he had no idea what that object could be, and despite searching, he never managed to identify it.
You've been warned. You wanted ghost videos, here they are. In this video, it's at night when he was sleeping and he caught it on his inside living room camera. He lives alone and has started to get poltergeists. And the mediums that he had come in said it's because he has something in his possession that's haunted, but he has no idea what it is and he can't find it. So this is the first of several videos.
On one of his security cameras inside the house, 2 orbs of light can be seen drifting across the room before a nearby door creaks open on its own. Moments later, something even more unsettling appears, a dark mist crawling briefly along the floor before vanishing. The footage left him more unsettled than ever, and without knowing which item was to blame, he feared the activity would only continue. The very next day, after capturing the orbs and the dark mist, the man thought things might calm down, but instead they escalated. Late in the evening, he heard the distinct sound of purring outside his bedroom, assuming it was his cat. Calling its name several times, he grew uneasy when the animal never appeared. Wanting to document what was happening, he pulled out his camera.
Man, you guys really like ghost videos, huh? Holy shit. Just a little caveat, I am not the forefront leader in all things ghost videos. My brother has a few scary videos I thought I'd post. I am not going to be the person you go to for ghost content. With that said, I do have a few more. Here's another video.
Felix. Felix.
As he approached the door ahead of him, a shadowy figure could be seen lingering in the small crack where the door met the frame. The sight made his breathing quicken, and after a few tense moments, the door suddenly swung shut on its own, with the shadow shifting out of view as it did. This moment left him shaken, especially since the purring sounded so similar to his actual cat, and his cat never returned to that hallway. Before this unsettling cat clip even took place though, the man had actually experienced something just as disturbing. Earlier that same night, he noticed a strange reflection shifting outside his room. Almost like a figure was standing there in the dim light. Gripped by unease, he quickly snapped a photograph, unsure of what he would capture. When he looked at the picture, his heart sank.
Ghost, and more ghost. I gotcha. I have a few more videos. I love that everybody is so involved and into all of the different videos and hauntings of my brother's apartment. I've set this one up because it's pictures, so before I get all of the comments of this is fake, it's not. I don't have enough time on my hands to try to fake this. Neither does my brother. So I try to set it up pretty well. I have one more video after this, and then they'll start trickling in slowly because he doesn't get haunted on an hourly basis. So let me know what you think of this one. This one actually freaked me out more than all of the videos, and the videos were pretty fucking freaky. So here you go.
Felix.
The photo clearly showed the outline of a shadow figure, standing just outside his room on the stairs that clearly couldn't be stood on, its shape warped and unnatural against the hallway wall. He described the image as one of the most frightening things he had ever seen, because unlike a fleeting video clip, a photograph meant the figure had been truly present, caught in that exact moment in terrifying clarity. After that chilling photograph, the house fell eerily quiet for a few days. No knocks, no shadows, no strange sounds in the night. For a brief moment, the man began to hope that whatever presence had been tormenting him was finally gone. But deep down, the silence didn't bring comfort, but it only made him more anxious, like the calm before a storm. Every creak of the floorboards or hum of the pipes kept him on edge, waiting for the next unexplainable moment to shatter the fragile peace. The uneasy calm didn't last. One day, while he was working quietly at home, the peace finally broke.
You guys want more? All right, here's ghost video number 2. For those that are joining, my brother's house is haunted. He lives by himself. He's been haunted for a few years now, actually, and it's all because a medium once told him he has an item in his house that is possessed and are haunted, and until he gets rid of that, the hauntings are going to continue. So until he figures out what that item is, because he has no idea, we're going to keep getting these videos, and I'll keep posting them because everyone seems to like them, and they freak me the hell out. So here's number 2.
A camera positioned in the top corner of the room caught the bathroom lights slowly turning themselves off and then back on again, as though someone unseen was playing with the switch. Before he even had time to process it, a door from across the house slammed shut with such force that it echoed through the rooms, making him jump out of his chair. The suddenness of it all left him shaken, and it became clear the haunting hadn't ended. It was only biding its time. Bruno had always cherished a small toy skateboard that sat proudly on the kitchen table, a gift from his grandfather before he passed away. That night, while idly playing with it, he suddenly felt the strange urge to start filming, as if something inside him knew something was about to happen.
Bruno! ¡Bruno! Se movió la silla.
¿Leal?
Sí.
De las Jores.
Tipo, es de arquitecta.
De las Jores.
As the camera rolled, the chair adjacent to him suddenly slid back from the table all on its own, the scraping sound sending chills through the air. Terrified, Bruno immediately bolted to find his brother, and the two returned cautiously to the kitchen to see what had happened. Just as they stepped inside, the door to the room slammed shut with such force it shook the frame. The brothers were left frozen, staring at each other in disbelief. Afterwards, Bruno admitted he couldn't shake the feeling that his grandfather's presence might somehow be tied to the event, though whether it was a warning, a sign, or something darker, he wasn't sure. A group of friends were sitting around together, just enjoying a relaxed conversation with no tension in the air. No odd vibes, just the usual banter you'd expect on a quiet night. Everything felt perfectly normal until a sudden bang came from the cupboard nearby. Curious rather than alarmed, one of them pulled out her phone to film.
Ada suara. Ada suara.
Gue takut nih. Gimana ini balikinnya?
Angin kayak.
Enggak ada. Kosong coy.
The camera caught one of the cupboard doors slowly creaking open on its own, making everyone go silent for a moment. The woman holding the camera cautiously stepped closer to check, but as soon as she peeked inside, she jumped back in fear, letting out a sharp gasp. Whatever she saw wasn't clear on camera, leaving only the sound of her reaction to go by. Tell me in the comments if you can make out what scared her. Esther had gone to her father's grave on the 5th anniversary of his passing, just as she did every year. She always made sure to clean up around the headstone, refill the plant pot, and spend some quiet moments reflecting. But on this particular visit, something strange unfolded.
Aquí no hay aire. Una pequeña tumba donde tuve un trailete que tira. Estoy insistiendo, yo pedí quien quisiera, con todo el respeto, de mí hacia ellos y de ellos hacia mí, obviamente. He visto 3 trailetes distintos que giren. No hay aire. Sigo insistiendo, hay mínimo aire como para que el trailete gire de esta manera. Lo ilógico es que aquí los trailetes y hasta apenas inicia a moverse. No hay aire. Miren, ahí hay unas plantas. Se alcanzan a ver que no hay movimiento de las plantas. Pero aquí sin embargo hay un trailete. Aquí estoy. Ya paro en automático. Voy a girar. Para eso me acerco y cuando gira este pequeño trailete, voy a intentar leer su nombre. Creo que no logro distinguir bien su nombre, pero aquí está el trailete girando. Lo curioso es que justo ahora que hay un poco de aire, cuando hay un poco de aire se para. ¿Ya fijaste? El otro es completamente estático, no es broma, vean. Voy a retirarme para que vean. No, ahorita va a girar. Está estático. Le voy a pedir. Ay Dios, no puedo leer tu nombre porque no quiero mover tus trailetes. Pero muéveme uno. Puedes moverme los dos, te lo voy a agradecer. Eso lo extraño. Solo uno mueve y el otro no. Sí, va. Solo alcanzó a distinguir bien Estrada. Voy a parar un poco el video.
Sitting on the grave were 2 wind spinners side by side. Despite there being no wind at all, only one of them began to spin slowly and steadily, while the other remained completely still. The odd contrast made the moment feel eerie, almost as if it were deliberate. Esther couldn't help but wonder if it was her father reaching out to her in some subtle way, a small sign of communication from beyond. A ghost hunter had been hired to investigate an old house with a reputation for being haunted, and although he'd been skeptical at first, he was willing to take the job for the payout. For the first stretch of his exploration, the place seemed quiet, nothing more than creaky floors and dusty rooms. But just as he was starting to think it was going to be a wasted trip, something chilling unfolded. After searching room to room for a few minutes, he suddenly stumbled upon a child's rocking horse in one of the corners, moving back and forth as if an invisible child were sitting on it. The sight froze him in place, the steady motion far too deliberate to be explained by air or movement. He whispered nervously to himself, backing away slowly, before finally turning and walking off in fear, not daring to stay in that room any longer. A man was in his bedroom late at night when the stillness of the house was broken by unsettling noises. At first, he tried to ignore it, but the sounds persisted, strange enough to make him grab his phone and start filming.
Hay algo en la cocina. Algo se mueve acá. Se movió eso, creo. No jodas.
He followed the noise out of his room, the camera shaking slightly as he made his way through the dark hallway until he reached the kitchen. That's when it happened. Some form of shadow glided across a row of long, thin objects that were propped up inside, brushing past them with an eerie presence. Just seconds later, they all came crashing down, filling the kitchen with a loud clatter. The man froze, clearly rattled, before quickly backing out of the room. With no one else in the house, and no way to explain how a shadow could physically interact with objects, the moment left him more shaken than ever. It was yet another chilling reminder that he wasn't alone. Rojo, a ghost hunter known for chasing down some of the most unnerving locations, set his sights on a school he strongly suspected was haunted. The building had long been rumored to hold on to dark energy, and he wanted to prove it for himself. With his equipment ready and camera rolling, he stepped inside the empty halls.
Estoy solo, no hay nadie, no hay ningún carro, nomás está la mía. Si vieron, alguien pasó allá. ¿Escucharon? Oigan, miren, no sé si alcancen a ver ahí en la ventana. Ahí, que se vea algo así, ven. Ven.
Almost immediately, shadows began appearing, not the kind caused by flickering lights or passing cars, but movements that seemed deliberate and intelligent, which is exactly what you would expect from a spirit. Determined to follow the activity, Rojo moved toward one of the classrooms. After spotting a shadow darting across the doorway, he pushed the door open and stepped inside cautiously. Just as he entered, a chair flew to the floor with force, startling him so badly he almost dropped his camera. The empty classroom was silent again, but the message was clear. Something inside that school did not want him there. The YouTube channel Exploration Unknown, with over 160,000 subscribers, took their audience along for another chilling adventure, this time exploring the haunted house of 7 Islands. Known for its dark history and eerie legends, the house had long been on their list of must-visit places. The team was setting up their equipment when one of them began casually recording an introduction for viewers.
Wow, that is beautiful. Oh, somebody's coming out. No, it's Tim.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, you ruined my moonshot, bro. Oh, man. I already got it, though. It's all good. It's beautiful, man. Okay. All right, guys. We've got the K2 meter over here in this window. We're getting things set up. All right. And then in and then here.
As he walked through the house explaining that the team was setting up, the camera panned past the staircase. At that very moment, the shadow of a pair of shadow-looking legs could be seen walking across the top of the stairs, hidden behind the banister. Nobody else was supposed to be upstairs, and the rest of the team were accounted for on the ground floor. The figure never appeared again, but the fleeting shadow was enough to leave the crew and their viewers deeply unsettled. It was one of those moments that couldn't be explained away easily, and for Exploration Unknown, it confirmed that the haunted house of 7 Islands truly lived up to its terrifying reputation. The Japanese YouTube channel Fourth Wall, with over 260,000 subscribers, is well known for capturing unsettling encounters in some of the country's most haunted places. In one of their investigations, the team had been focusing on a room on the upper floor of a notoriously eerie facility, a spot they already suspected was charged with strange energy. Standing outside in the darkness, the cameraman tilted his lens up toward the window, talking about it. But just as he panned the shot back down, something unexpected happened. In the shadows of a doorway, a figure could be seen walking past. At first glance, it looked like a person, but the mannerisms and the way it acted, detached from the environment, made it an evident ghost. Many agreed it was one of the clearest ghostly captures the channel had ever recorded. Daniel Perez had grown used to the strange happenings in his home, but instead of ignoring them, he decided it was time to finally catch something on film. He set up in his kitchen, holding his camera steady as he spoke about the spirit he was certain lived alongside him.
En la cocina me dijeron que cuando vuelva a sentir otra vez ruidos, diga unas palabras para que se vaya. Y bueno, voy a decirlas ahora. Puedes irte de mi casa, tenés las puertas abiertas. Puedes irte de mi casa, tenés las puertas abiertas. Puedes irte de mi casa, tenés las puertas abiertas. Puedes irte de mi casa, tenés las puertas abiertas. Ay, la puta madre. Puedes irte de mi casa, tenés las puertas abiertas. Puedes irte de mi casa, tenés las puertas abiertas. Andate de mi casa.
For a while, nothing happened, just the ordinary quiet of the house. Then, suddenly, a pot was hurled to the floor with force, clattering loudly across the tiles. Daniel jumped at the sound, but kept the camera rolling, determined to show everything as it unfolded. Moments later, one of the kitchen cupboards creaked open by itself, fast and deliberate, as if something unseen wanted to make its presence known. Daniel's clip quickly spread online, with viewers agreeing that it was far too direct to be anything but paranormal. For him, the activity was further proof that his suspicions had been right all along. His home wasn't empty, and the spirit inside clearly wanted attention. An 11-year-old girl had been insisting for weeks that her house was haunted, but her parents brushed it off as imagination. Determined to prove she was right, she waited for the next urge of activity, listening carefully until the familiar sounds returned. Camera in hand, she sprinted upstairs, ready to capture it once and for all.
You know how I told you my house is haunted? Yeah, it's happening. What should I do? Should I go in there? I don't know if I should go in there. That door closed. It's just closed. I'm gonna turn the lights on. It's opening. It's opening. Should I go in there? I'll go in there. Nothing here. Like, what? There's nothing here. What do I do? Like, there's nothing here. But you saw that, so what did I do?
At the top of the landing, she caught clear footage of a door swinging open and slamming shut on its own, over and over, with no one nearby. Nervously, she flicked the light switch on and ran toward the room, pushing the door open to show the empty space behind it. There was nothing inside, no strings, no tricks, just a room that should have been still, but wasn't. For a girl her age, the courage to chase down the activity left viewers stunned, and for her parents, the clip was undeniable proof that she hadn't been making things up. The very next day, the girl's mother was going about her usual routine, still unconvinced, despite the strange footage her daughter had shown her the night before. But while she was tidying up, something caught her eye.
Did you hear that? Whoa. Why is that thing moving? Okay. Hello? Hello? Okay. This side of the basement always freaks me out. Hello? Oh my god. I know, I just stopped that thing.
An underwear hanger nearby began swaying back and forth on its own, slow at first, and then with more force. She stopped what she was doing and went to check it, running her hands along the octopus hanger to show there was nothing that could have been tampering with it. Puzzled, she walked around the room, softly calling out, "Hello," as if testing whether something would answer. When she turned back, the hanger was moving again, just as unnaturally as before. This time, she froze, realizing her daughter might have been telling the truth all along. The family now had more than one strange moment on tape, leaving them questioning what exactly had settled into their home. Ghost Golden Guns was relaxing in front of the TV late one night when that uneasy feeling crept back into the house. Tired of ignoring it, he called out, asking if anyone was there.
Yo, what up? Ghost Golden Guns over here, and I'm going live right now because that's why. Hello? Hello? Is anyone there? What the f? What the f? Who is out? Oh my god. Oh my goodness, what the f? Hello? Who is there? Oh my goodness, please stop. What the f? Please stop. Please stop. This is my house. Leave. Leave. This is my house. You're not allowed here. Leave. Oh my goodness. Hello. Oh my goodness.
Almost immediately, the kitchen beside him erupted with a series of unexplainable noises and movements, far too deliberate to pass off as coincidence. He stood frozen for a moment, the weight of the situation setting in, before finally working up the courage to shout at whatever it was, demanding it to get out. Gathering himself, he walked into the kitchen with his camera still rolling. Just as he thought the activity had calmed, one of the cupboards creaked open on its own. It was the final straw for him that night. Rather than keep pushing, he turned away and decided to go to sleep, hoping that by morning the presence would be gone. For viewers, the video was another chilling sign that something inside his home wasn't finished with him yet. A man decided to investigate the strange knocking sounds he'd been hearing from the upper floor of his house. The clip begins with him walking up the stairs slowly, the wood creaking beneath his feet as the faint knocking continues somewhere above.
Steve, are you home, bro? Yeah. Hello? Hello? Fuck!
Each step he takes seems to make the sound grow more deliberate than the one before, almost like whatever's causing it knows he's coming closer. By the time he reaches the top few steps, the knocks turn into rapid, heavy bangs that echo through the entire house. His breathing quickens, the camera shaking as he freezes in place for just a moment before instinct takes over. Without another word, he turns and bolts back down the stairs, the knocking still pounding behind him until he reaches the bottom and everything suddenly stops. Only the sound of his panicked breathing and the silence followed. The story continues right where the last clip left off. The man, still shaken from what happened upstairs, is now pacing around the lower floor, trying to calm himself. Then a familiar sound interrupts the silence. He hears loud, rhythmic banging coming from the basement door.
Great fucking purchase. Shit. You gotta come out. Oh my god. Come on. What the fuck?
He approaches it cautiously, hand trembling as he turns the handle and pulls it open to reveal the dark, empty stairwell below. He begins his descent, step by step, the camera light flickering as he reaches the bottom. The basement is in disarray with a few light bulbs smashed across the ground. He flips the switch on the wall, but the lights won't come on, leaving the room cloaked in dim shadows. As he moves the camera around, something clatters to the floor on the other side of the basement. He spins toward the sound, his breath quickening, when suddenly, from behind a shelf in the far corner, a shadow peeks out. It lingers for a second, then glides smoothly across the room before vanishing into the darkness. The man gasps and bolts back toward the stairs, the camera shaking violently until the footage cuts out, marking another terrifying moment in his ongoing haunting. Subscribe because this man's story just might continue. Leandro had been cleaning his garage earlier that day, leaving behind a single cardboard box he hadn't bothered to move. Hours later, now home alone, he started hearing something unusual coming from it. It was a faint, eerie melody playing on its own.
Son las 3 de la mañana. Hoy había limpiado y dejé una caja vieja y ahora estoy solo. Y se está escuchando. La verdad no sé. Yo esta caja la había dejado acá, pero no entiendo por qué.
When he went to check, he saw that the sound was coming from a doll box resting on top of the packaging box. The doll's built-in music feature was playing by itself, even though he hadn't wound it or touched it since moving it there. He crouched down, lifted the lid, and closed it firmly. The tune stopped instantly, But before he could even step away, 2 sharp knocks echoed from the door. Startled, he froze for a second, then turned back toward the doll, and the music had started playing again. The same unsettling tune filled the garage, slow and warped, like it was being played underwater. Leandro quickly shut the doll box a second time, took a deep breath, and walked to the door. He swung it open, expecting someone to be there after the knocks, but there was no one outside. The yard was empty, perfectly still. When he turned back toward the garage, the melody had stopped again, leaving only silence. But he said he could still feel the presence of something standing just behind that door frame. A woman began filming after her young daughter came running to her, insisting there was a person inside her closet. The video starts with the mother calmly following her daughter down the hallway, trying to reassure her it's nothing.
My daughter has informed me that there is a person in her closet that keeps smiling at her. Let's go see.
Open it. That's a person.
There's a person?
Yeah.
Can you show me where the person is?
Right here. Right here. Right here.
Is it Elsa?
No. No.
No?
I'm scared.
You're scared?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you show me where the person is? Is it a kid person or a grown-up person?
Grown-up person.
It's a grown-up person?
I want your Elmo.
You want to wear your Elmo costume?
Yeah.
Okay. There's a grown-up person in your closet?
Yeah.
And it's right there?
Yeah. It's my closet.
It's your closet. Say, go away, person.
I'm scared.
You're scared?
Yeah. I'm a person.
Okay, well, we'll get rid of the person.
When they reach the bedroom, the little girl clutches her mother's hand and points toward the closed closet door, whispering that the person is still in there. The mother is beside her, confident that nobody is there, and this is all her daughter's imagination, before slowly pulling the handle and opening it. At first glance, the closet looks completely empty with clothes, a few toys, and the quiet hum of the house in the background. But the little girl doesn't relax. She keeps pointing toward one specific corner of the closet, her eyes wide as if she can still see someone standing there. When her mom asks what she's seeing, the girl defines them as a grown-up, which is even more mysterious. The mother's tone changes, trying to stay calm but clearly unsettled, and she tells the person that it's her daughter's closet and they need to leave. Right as she says it, her daughter's expression shifts from confusion to pure fear. She steps back quickly, clutching her mom's arm and saying she's scared. The video ends abruptly after that, leaving viewers wondering who or what her daughter was seeing that the camera couldn't. Ring doorbell footage captured something so strange that even Sondra, the homeowner, couldn't believe what she was seeing. The clip begins late at night, the porch light faintly illuminating the front of her house. Out of nowhere, a pale white figure begins gliding away from the door. It is faint, shapeless, and eerily smooth in its movements. Its outline almost resembles the classic ghost shape, almost cartoonish, but too fluid and natural to be anything fake or edited. As it left the driveway, to make things even weirder, the front door, which had been fully closed, creaked open slightly on its own, as if whatever that thing was had just passed through it. The figure continues to move until it disappears completely off the edge of the camera's frame, dissolving into the night. There's no sign of anyone outside, no trick of the light, just the quiet motion of a door still swinging. Sondra later said she wasn't sure what to make of it. There were no footprints, no evidence of tampering, and nobody nearby. Now she's trying to decide what to do next. She has no idea whether to call in help, get a priest, or just pretend she never saw it. Whatever that thing was, it clearly didn't want to be caught. The Ring camera set up in a family's infant room caught something deeply disturbing late one night. The house was already known by relatives to be haunted, but what happened here was worse than anything they'd ever experienced before.
Another scary encounter. I have no clue what that is, but this is my infant's room, and I had a cam set up and caught this, and then the light turned off by itself. The window was cracked, but they're a child lock, so it can't be pried open.
It begins with a faint knocking sound coming from the window, something hitting it lightly over and over again. The strange part is, that window had child locks, so it couldn't be opened from the inside or the outside. As the camera focuses, a face slowly becomes visible on the other side of the glass. Its features are blurry, but unmistakably human-like, just not quite right. The proportions are off, the skin tone too mysterious and the eyes too dark. It stays pressed close to the window, gently patting the glass like it's trying to get someone's attention, then starts scratching it with what looks like long fingers. Then, without warning, the room's light flickers once and shuts off completely, plunging the space into darkness. When the parents rushed to check the camera, they were horrified to see what it had caught. Thankfully, the window was still locked, and their young son had been safely downstairs watching a movie at the time. The motion detector was what alerted them to the activity, but by the time they got upstairs, whatever had been at the window was gone. Security footage from a small cafe captured something so subtle yet eerie that it left both staff and customers unsettled. The timestamp read 3 in the afternoon, and it was just like any normal day in the cafe. However, it was far from busy and there weren't many customers. A waiter can be seen serving 2 women sitting by the window, a couple quietly chatting as he places down their meals and walks away. One of the women begins slicing into her food, while the other, waiting for her plate, scrolls on her phone. That's when it happens. Her empty plate, the one she hadn't even been served yet, slides a few inches across the table completely on its own. There's no visible contact, no vibration, no spill. The woman freezes, staring down in disbelief as her partner looks up confused. When the waiter returns with the second plate, they both immediately tell him what just happened. He assumes it's a joke at first, until they insist and ask him to check the cameras. Later that day, management reviewed the footage and confirmed exactly what the couple described. The plate had moved on its own, no strings, no tricks. It simply shifted across the table like someone invisible had pushed it. Out of respect for how shaken the couple were, the cafe refunded their meal entirely. Since then, staff have admitted they're uneasy about that table and try to avoid serving it when possible. It was a quiet night shift at the hospital, the kind where every small sound feels louder than it should. A male doctor and a female nurse were making their rounds, pushing along a cart down one of the dim hallways. That's when the phenomenon happened.
Did you hear her?
Yes.
You hear her?
Ik was hier hem zo, we wakten hem op. We wakten hem op.
Everything was still until a faint, eerie sound echoed through the corridor, a woman's voice. It wasn't a patient, and it wasn't coming from any of the nearby rooms. It was soft, almost like it was whispering from somewhere down the hall. Both of them stopped immediately, standing in silence, waiting to hear it again. For a few seconds, there was nothing, just the faint hum of the hospital lights. And then the noise came back, the same female tone, distant but unmistakable. The nurse looked toward the sound while the doctor hesitated, unsure whether to keep moving or turn back. They eventually continued, pushing the cart slowly as their footsteps echoed against the linoleum floor. Later that same night, a different nurse captured something even stranger on her own phone. While doing another routine check, she started recording one of the rooms when a door behind her began to open by itself. The handle turned, the door creaked, and it swung open slowly, revealing nothing but an empty room beyond. There was no one inside, no wind, no logical explanation. After reviewing both moments side by side, The staff were convinced that something else was moving through that hospital with them. They just couldn't prove it. Ian, the Midwest ghost hunter, is back on this channel once again, and this time he's still exploring that same haunted factory that's been featured in several of his past investigations. The building's history of strange sounds and ghostly encounters has only gotten darker since his last visit, and what he caught here might be the most convincing proof yet.
Dude, it just freaking touched me. I felt a cold hand run right up my back. Oh God, that was absolutely terrifying. Just stay calm. Just stay calm. What? That door just shut. Oh, oh no, oh no, 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 no. I am not gonna be stuck in here. Please, 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 please. Oh, thank God. Oh, thank God. Oh. It just tried to shut me in here. Like trap me. With it.
He's walking through one of the long, echoing hallways, flashlight aimed ahead, quietly questioning the ghost that's said to linger in this part of the building. His tone is calm but uneasy, asking it a series of questions, likely in an attempt to provoke it for content. A few seconds later, he suddenly stiffens and turns, saying something just touched him, describing it as an icy cold hand pressing against his back. His voice cracks slightly, caught between disbelief and fear, as he pans the camera behind him, but there's no one there. Before he can react further, the sound of a door slamming breaks through the silence. The camera spins toward it, capturing one of the old wooden doors closing on its own, the hinges groaning with a long, almost comically accurate creak as it latches shut. Ian edges closer, breathing heavy but determined, and decides to stand directly in the doorway to stop it from closing again. The clip ends there, his flashlight trembling slightly in his hand, leaving you guys wondering if something was trying to trap him inside. Subscribe to me so you don't miss the continuation of this haunting investigation. David, an Italian ghost hunter fluent in English, had been exploring what his client claimed could possibly be one of the most haunted houses in the area when something strange made him start recording. He explained that just moments before filming, a plant in the corner had shifted on its own and the chandelier above him had started to sway.
Okay, TikTok. I'm in another fucking haunted house, I swear. This plant just moved and the chandelier. My client went out to town, elderly guy, but he's here alone, but he has a lot of these artifacts here. I don't think I have an attachment or anything. But yeah. Whoa, what the hell? This is what I'm talking about. You guys heard that?
As he continues talking to the camera, a loud sound of a door slamming closed can be heard somewhere deeper in the house, more than likely upstairs. David looks around, while behind him the chandelier begins to swing again, more noticeably this time. The movement is slow, deliberate, and eerily timed, with each sound coming from elsewhere in the house. He stands still for a few seconds, narrating the video, clearly unsure of what to do next. This investigation doesn't stop here though. This story will continue in a future video on my channel. Subscribe. The following video begins with the sound of deep, uneasy breathing. A man is filming from his bed, phone trembling slightly in his hand. From downstairs, a woman's voice can be heard calling out the words, "Babe, come downstairs," over and over, each time sounding a little more impatient.
Alexa, turn on all lights.
I couldn't find any enabled video skills.
Really?
To do that. Go to the Alexa
Thanks,
app
Alexa.
to manage your video skills and devices.
Then, the sound of a door opening and closing echoes through the house. The man knows that nobody else should be home, and the clip abruptly switches to CCTV, footage from downstairs, showing a door near the hallway swinging open on its own before slowly shutting again. The woman's voice stops entirely after that, replaced by something much more chilling. A faint, mechanical tune that sounds like it's coming from a toy somewhere in the man's room. The camera shakes as he pans around trying to find the source, and the eerie, dollhouse-like melody keeps looping, echoing through the silence. The man doesn't speak again after that, just films in disbelief as the sound continues until the video cuts, leaving viewers wondering if the voice that called him down was ever really human. The next clip from this story shows Ali's prayer mat, and he starts his explanation saying the story took place whilst he was praying. He explains in a low voice the eerie music from the night before. The same dollhouse-like tune has started again, coming from a small music box he keeps on his shelf.
Guys, I was just praying, and the music box just started playing by itself. Can you do that again? Nope. Nope. Nope, nope, nope.
The camera focuses on it as the melody begins to play on its own, no one touching it. The soft, mechanical tune echoes through the room, sending chills through the silence. Ali's breathing grows heavier, and he mutters a prayer under his breath before kneeling forward again. He films the music box continuing to play despite not being wounded. Once it finally stops, he prays 3 more times in succession, visibly shaken, but trying to stay composed. He later explains that whatever is in his home doesn't seem to want to leave, and that he's now considering bringing in someone spiritual to cleanse the place. In the next clip, we see a woman sitting at her desk, casually talking to the camera. Her tone is calm but clearly frustrated as she explains how she's been having strange problems lately with managing to get people to come to her shows, and she doesn't understand how. She is evidently confused with the situation, but little did she know that she was about to become far more confused from something else.
I just want to know how I can get people to come to our shows. How do we get people to come to our shows? No, I'm just trying to understand. Tell me it doesn't look like there's someone right here. There's not.
As she continues talking, behind her, in the doorway that seems to lead to a closet, something suddenly falls to the floor in a swift motion. The movement is quick and sharp. Cutting through the quiet room, she freezes mid-sentence, her eyes darting toward the sound, before slowly turning around in disbelief. From the camera's angle, it's clear the doorway is fully visible, meaning no one could have been inside or near it. After ending the clip, she gets up, cautiously walks to the closet, opens it wide, and finds nothing inside. Very spooky indeed. It begins with the sound of frantic barking echoing through a quiet house. The camera switches on as the person behind the camera is very confused because they don't even own a dog. The barking seems to be coming from below, down near the basement.
Hello?
Oh my god!
As they approach the staircase, the noise grows louder, mixed with the unsettling noise of the basement door, repeatedly opening and closing at the bottom. The person hesitates for a moment, panning the camera to their blue-haired friend behind them, before slowly making their way down. The sound of claws against the floor echoes up the steps, the barking sharp and desperate. When they reach the halfway point, something starts charging upward, heavy, rapid footsteps, but there's nothing visible. No animal, no figure, just the sound rushing past the camera. The person gasps and stumbles back up the stairs out of fear. What's most unsettling is how real the barking sounded, yet how completely invisible whatever made it was. Viewers have started calling it one of the clearest recordings of a ghost dog ever caught on camera. A few days later, the man's mother came over to visit, bringing her dog along. Wanting to prove what he'd been hearing, he decided to film again while she was upstairs. The clip begins with him standing halfway down the basement stairs, camera in hand, while the same unsettling noises echo from below. The sound of the basement door rattling and creaking is identical to before, as if whatever caused it had returned. At the top of the stairs, his mother's dog stands frozen, staring down into the darkness, its ears pinned back and body tense. The man takes a breath and walks down the remaining steps. He flips on the basement light, revealing the quiet, still space below, except for one single door at the far end, the one that always seems to make the noise. As he gets closer, the air seems heavy, the only sound being the faint hum of the light above. Then, without warning, the door creaks open entirely on its own. From the top of the stairs, the dog lets out a deep bark, barking again and again, refusing to come down. The man freezes, whispering for it to stop, but the barking only grows louder. He runs away. Viewers later pointed out how dogs often sense things humans can't, leaving many convinced that whatever was haunting that basement had finally made itself known. The footage begins upstairs this time, showing the man cautiously standing in his sitting room, camera in hand. The camera aims at a cabinet before, without warning, the right door creaks open all on its own. He stops dead in his tracks, filming it slowly swinging wider, and it's important to remember nobody else was home. Then, from across the hallway, the light above another room begins to sway back and forth, casting long, distorted shadows on the walls. He steps closer, his breathing quick and uneven, each creak of the floorboards echoing through the house. Just as he reaches out toward the swinging light, a sudden thunderous smash explodes somewhere nearby, cutting the electricity completely. Every light in the house goes out in an instant. The camera captures his panicked breathing in the darkness as he scans around, trying to see what broke. Then, for just a second, he freezes and stumbles back. The lens catches him staring into a nearby room, and then he sounds audibly shocked at what he saw in there. The clip ends there as he turns and runs, leaving viewers certain that whatever haunted his basement had now made its way up gears. Carly and her friend were just messing around one evening, laughing and recording random clips for fun. It wasn't even meant for posting, just something to look back on later. Her friend started doing a goofy little dance in the living room, and Carly pulled out her phone to film, both of them already cracking up at how ridiculous it looked.
Y aquí va Lala. Aquí va Lala bailando. Dale, tu cuerpo.
But right in the middle of the dance, something on the shelf behind her friend suddenly fell to the ground. Neither of them were anywhere near it, and there was no way it could have just tipped over by accident. Both girls screamed at the exact same time and bolted out of the room in panic, their laughter instantly turning into terrified shrieks. Later, when they replayed the footage, it only made them more unsettled because it was so clear nothing touched the object at all. What started out as a harmless, funny night turned into the moment they realized something else might be sharing the space with them. She had been lying in bed, scrolling on her phone and trying to relax after a long day when she first noticed it. At first, she thought it was just the house settling, or maybe a neighbor outside. But the dragging noise continued, low and heavy, moving slowly right outside her room. Her stomach dropped as the sound grew closer, scraping against the floor in a way that felt almost intentional.
Estoy preocupada en serio esta vez, ya me tienen podrida. Las cosas se mueven solas. Estoy recagada hasta las patas, encima estoy sola. Estoy recagada hasta las patas, mal. La concha de Dios. Ya estoy cansada, ya les juro, chicas. ¿Quién sos? Ahí a la concha de la lora. No me dejan en paz. ¡Ay, no! ¡Ay, no!
Just as she gathered the courage to get up and check, the door to her bedroom slammed shut with terrifying force, making her jump out of bed in tears. Shaking, she opened the door again, only to watch as objects across the corridor collapsed violently to the ground, as if something had shoved them over. Before she could process what had just happened, the hallway lights went completely dark, leaving her crying in fear, knowing she was trapped in a place that didn't feel like her home anymore. This man had long accepted that his house was haunted, but each new occurrence still found a way to shake him. Strange noises echoed through the halls late at night, enough to convince him to grab his camera and investigate yet again.
Voy a grabar porque estoy en mi trabajo y vine a dejar unas cosas, pero aquí siempre se escuchan cosas raras, pero hoy, en el rato que llevo aquí, o sea, de plano ya son ruidos muy raros y voy a ver si puedo grabar algo. Este apagador está atorado, no puedo presionarlo, creo que no sirve y ni siquiera hay focos donde debería de haber. Este es un área como de se almacenan muchas cosas viejas, pero la verdad ahorita yo estoy solito aquí, tengo mucho miedo, mames. No sé si sea buena idea. No sé si sea buena idea. Aquí no hay nada. Ay, no sé qué fue eso. O sea, está súper rarísimo. No sé qué habrá sido, la verdad. Pero donde más se escucha es allá arriba y la neta me están temblando las piernas para subir. No, no mames. Algo se está moviendo allá arriba. No mames. No mames. ¿Qué fue eso? No manches. No mames. ¿Qué fue eso? No mames. No mames. Esto fue lo que se movió. Ay, me está temblando la mano. Ay, tengo las orejas hasta calientes. Aquí no, pues aquí nadie tiene acceso. O sea, no sube nadie. O sea, ahorita les voy a enseñar que no hay nada. Nada, ni nadie aquí. No mames. De hecho, que está como cerrada. Aquí no hay nada. Miren aquí desde... No mames. ¿Qué fue eso? No mames. La verdad es que esta luz que está acá fue la que me hizo... No hay nadie. Aquí no sé qué pedo. No mames. ¿Qué fue eso? No manches.
As he reached the base of the attic staircase, the moment turned chilling when a cloth was suddenly pulled straight out of the dark doorway above, as if yanked by invisible hands. Heart pounding, he forced himself to climb the stairs, hoping to find an explanation waiting in the shadows. But when he finally reached the attic, there was nothing there, just the same dusty emptiness that had always been. It was another reminder that the presence in his home wasn't just noise or imagination, it was something unseen that wanted him to know it was there. Jigpoopuff had always been the kind of YouTuber who loved testing the limits of home alone setups, especially late at night when the house was completely quiet. On this particular evening, he decided to film some casual content, unaware that his own walls would soon become part of the show.
Okay, lights turned out again. What is that? This is creepy. Hello? Oh my... Oh.
The lights suddenly cut out, plunging the room into darkness, and a series of strange knocking sounds echoed along the walls. Heart racing, he spun around to check the source, only to catch sight of a painting on the wall, slowly tilting, as if nudged by an invisible hand. The subtle movement was enough to make him step back, realizing that this wasn't just a trick of the eye or a loose frame. Something unseen had made its presence known, turning his quiet night into a chilling encounter. Josh Robillard was driving home late one night after finishing some errands, the streets unusually quiet and misty. As he pulled into his driveway, something caught his eye, a human silhouette standing in one of his upstairs windows. Heart pounding, he quickly got out of the car, unsure if it was a prank, a reflection, or something more sinister.
Okay, so I just got home from work, and there should be nobody at my house right now. I mean, it should be completely empty. But I just pulled up, and what is that? Is that a person? What the fuck is that? Should be nobody in the house. Nobody at all. Okay, well, guess I'll check it out. Okay.
He approached the house cautiously, peering through the window, but the room was empty. The shadow had vanished, leaving him confused and unnerved. Even after checking every corner, Josh found nothing out of place, but the fleeting glimpse had left a lingering chill that stayed with him the rest of the night, making him question whether he was truly alone in his home. Jorge Cruz had been haunted for a long time, experiencing a string of unexplainable events in his home. In a previous video, he caught a series of noises on camera, objects falling off shelves, and even a cross turning upside down on his mirror, confirming that something was definitely disturbing his household. In this new clip, Jorge attempts to take matters into his own hands. He sets up the camera, explaining his objective: to cleanse the space and force the spirit to leave. Holding holy water and a scripture, he begins saying his plan aloud.
Hello everybody. So today, I want to come here because I know that this room has been having quite a few activities, as you guys all seen, and I do want to have some prayers over this room. I know that, you know, a lot of people has been saying for me to pray. Obviously, I have some holy water, and I also have a Bible to pray over the room as well. So today, I obviously want to read. So today I want to start off by reading real quick. So I start real quick, all right? So we oh hell no. Oh hell.
As he continues, a shadow glides silently above him to his right, causing a chill to run down his spine. Shortly after, a cross on the shelf behind him falls, landing near a photo of his father. Jorge flinches, but continues his prayer, visibly shaken yet determined. By the end of the recording, the room falls silent, leaving an uneasy calm. Viewers are left questioning whether his efforts had any effect, and the haunting seems far from over. A woman was home alone one night, relaxing on the couch while the TV played in front of her. She was about to get up and put some laundry away when something in the reflection of the screen made her freeze.
So I'm home alone, right? I'm sitting here watching TV. And I'm like, I'm going back to my room. Once again, I just got done doing laundry at my sister's. So I'm about to go put everything up. Home alone with my dogs. And I think it's back.
Clear as day, the reflection showed a dark, demonic-looking figure sitting right next to her on the couch. She whipped her head around instantly, but of course, nothing was there. What makes this worse is that she claims this isn't the first time. It has happened more than once, and each time it leaves her more uneasy about being in her own home. Now she says she can't even relax watching TV anymore without checking the reflections first. The following video took place in August of 2006. Phil Koch was visiting a house in Milwaukee, Wisconsin that was going through an exorcism and cleansing. He wasn't particularly into ghosts, but he was there to photograph and video the house before the ritual began. As the group was starting the cleansing in the basement, Phil was getting ready to leave and decided to take one last shot of the living room.
Oh, come on. Alright, that wasn't cool.
On camera, a door suddenly opened by itself, opening a crack, whilst it was evident nobody was nearby. After the event, Phil packed up and left immediately, spooked by what he had captured. Though he wasn't normally concerned with the paranormal, the clip left him uneasy, and he avoided returning to the house as the ritual continued. Working security can get kind of spooky. The guard, who hated the job and was only doing it because he was young, had always dreamed of becoming a filmmaker. But for now, this was just a paycheck. The community college he patrolled had a dark reputation with rumors and stories of multiple people having shot themselves in the parking lot. This dark past made the job even creepier.
Spooky if I don't.
Yo, did it again.
Turn on my flashlight.
One night, the bathroom started making strange noises, flushing sounds, taps turning on and off, so he went in to check. As soon as he stepped inside the actual bathroom, all the sounds stopped, Nobody was there, and nothing seemed out of place. Despite being unsettled, he chose to keep the job rather than complain, chalking it up to faulty sensors and dark lore, while continuing to save for his true dream of filmmaking. Sean had always been skeptical about the strange noises coming from his attic door, and they had been haunting him from day one. His roommate Stephen insisted it was just the wind because Sean left his windows cracked for fresh air, but Sean wasn't so sure. Determined to catch what was happening on tape, he set up a camera on his jeans, aiming it at the attic entrance, turned off the lights, and went to bed.
Okay, everybody, we're in my closet, and I'm going to do the experiment of trying to get this on tape. My attic, it's right there. It always makes noise. It rattles all the time at night. I'm not sure if it's the suction of the wind in the attic or whatever it is, but I'm going to try to get this on film when I'm sleeping. So it is around 1 o'clock in the morning, so I'm going to place camera right up here on my jeans. So I'll try to get this on film. Alrighty. Good night, Facebook. Well, if I can place it up here. There we go.
Around 3 a.m., the camera picked up weird noises coming from the attic, almost like taps. By 4 a.m., the attic door was clattering aggressively, as if something was trying to get out, and an orb even flew past the camera. Sean was left shaken but fascinated, reviewing the footage repeatedly, and now seriously considering getting expert help to figure out what was haunting his attic. Derek had been working the late shift at the bar for years, and while he'd heard his fair share of ghost stories from staff and customers, he never took them seriously. That night, the place was quiet, except for the faint hum of the refrigeration units and the occasional creak from the old wooden beams. He was alone, methodically cleaning glasses and wiping down tables, trying to finish up so he could lock up and head home. Without warning, a stool on the far side of the bar suddenly tipped over and crashed onto the floor with a loud thud. Derek froze, staring at the fallen chair for a few seconds before running away. Just as he was able to make his escape, another set of random objects fell to the ground, as if someone moved them, but there was evidently no visible force. The air outside felt heavier, almost charged, and Derek's chest tightened with unease. The bizarre activity lasted only moments, but it was enough to shake him. From that night on, Derek made sure to finish his work earlier or bring someone along, unwilling to risk being in the building alone after hours again.